All right, everybody, we'll be live here a little over 2 minutes. Should be live on Facebook, Periscope, Gab, Twitch, and YouTube. So go ahead and hit that share button, guys. If you're on Facebook, hit the like, the heart, whatever. Periscope, throw some hearts up. And we'll be, I'll be here shortly. All right, guys, we're under a minute here, 30 seconds, and we'll get started. All right, here we are. We are here. Oh, I don't know why that happened. Anyway, all right, there we go, guys. So we're live, and they're going to be doing a press conference. They called it for 2 p.m. We always know how they are, never on time, very rarely. So we're going to do a couple things beforehand. We're going to hang out, and then we'll cover the press briefing. I actually do have that up and waiting, so as soon as they kick in, I mean, you can see here, guys, we're going to be, it's the daily press briefing with Sarah Sanders. We're going to be doing that. But right now, let's jump into some of this right here, guys. Oh, stuff's going on. I'm getting all kinds of notifications. Give me a second, guys. So one of the big things right now, of course, is the Korea situation, right? So this, look at these titles of what the AP is putting out. What could go wrong? Pitfalls pose risks in Trump, Kim talks. And so here's a little article from AP. But here's the deal with that, guys. Now, I have seen posts in many different places talking about QAnon and how the messages that that QAnon's put out recently say that Trump's actually already met with Kim Jong-un in private. So we have some, I mean, QAnon, whatever, you think what you want of it, but basically that's what's been put out there, is that there was already a secret meeting and that they've done it behind, closed doors and whatnot, and this whole situation. We've seen Dennis Rodman come out and say, in fact, actually, what I could do for you while we're looking at this is we'll put this up real quick. There it is right there. So I actually even put it on here. Well done, President Trump. You're on the way to a historical meeting no U.S. president has ever done. That's Dennis Rodman. That's on our Instagram right there. You can also follow us on Instagram, JG Patriot Media. There we are. And so when we talk about this, I mean, when we look at this article here, they're saying they haven't had significant high-level talks in years, which we know, obviously, because North Korea is a dictatorship. And so, this is definitely groundbreaking. This is huge, whether they've met already or whether they're going to meet. I would like to think that there's probably stuff going on in the back channels. Okay. When is the last time that South Korea and North Korea have ever done anything really together, like they did with the Olympics, like they're doing now with their open communication? And also, in communication, obviously, with their ally, the United States, and trying to get to this denuclearization situation. So the fact that he's agreed to not do any more tests, okay, we'll have to see how that plays out. But according to QAnon, Trump's already met with him. That's according to QAnon. So let's look at what it says here. Hey, Steve. Oh, some of these. Hey, Steve, make sure to retweet this out. Yes, please, Jersey. Thank you. Steve, good. You're back. Hope you're feeling better. Yes, Steve, I am. What do we got going on here on Facebook? Give me 1 sec, guys. We'll switch over here so I can let's see. Hey, Josh, Amy, Linda Blair. Oh, there's my wife in here. She's in here. Yay. Cindy, how are you doing? You're listening, I see. And Karen, of course. Karen, Karen, you and Cindy are always around here. So anyway, we got a couple different camera angles. I'm trying to do a few different things differently. So that's what we're doing. Let's see. Barry is in the house. I just joined on Periscope. Some other people are joining on Periscope. Okay, so right. The Kim Jong-un situation, we got that. Now, I think we have to also, I also want to mention, guys, which I talked about before, and I'm going to bring this up. This is coming up, okay? This is a Women's March event. The same people who just got arrested out front of Paul Ryan's office, okay? Linda Sarsour, the rest of the Islamic, lovers who basically are just trying to look like martyrs, with her head up, like with handcuffs behind her, like, oh my gosh, we're coming after Muslims. Oh no. So anyway, this is their hashtag enough thing that they're doing, and I'm trying to pull it up here. And basically, here we go. So wait, go back. So basically, we're going to go into the frequently asked questions, but I just had a map up, and it says there's 2,554 walkouts that are scheduled. So they are basically, what they're doing is on the 1 month anniversary of. Okay, of course now it doesn't want to cooperate. Okay, let's try again. I don't know why it's not coming up. I'm gonna try to fix this real quick. Give me 1 second, guys. Now it's going. Okay, so here we go. Right, look at this. 2,545 walkouts and counting. So what they're doing is they're telling all the kids to walk out of school at a particular time across the country. Here we go on March 14th for 17 minutes. And this has to do with the Parkland, Florida. So they're politicizing this completely. I don't know what this has to do with women's rights, why the Women's March garbage is doing this, but they are doing it. But let's have a good laugh, guys. Let's look at this. This is Nancy Pelosi, who we all know is just a joke. And it says that she stumbled 16 times over just 15 minutes. So there's a little video here. I haven't actually even watched the whole video yet, but it's a short little clip. So I'm guessing they compiled it all together. So let's have fun and just, laugh at Nancy Pelosi, because she should honestly be in a retirement home. That's where she needs to be. So let's listen.
March 5th marked the 6 month, the end of the time frame state. The list goes on and on. We will. I'm very proud of the work of Benny Thompson and Ranking Member Thompson. Most exhilarating thrill for people. It's not permanent.
It's like hard to tolerate.
And again, as you know, yesterday, 14 months later, House and Senate is happening this week. This week we had the 6th being the 14-month in September of 2008.
Wow. That's all you can say to this.
So why are we going home at 11 o'clock? That the Russians did attempt to disrupt our elections. Maybe we'll meet next. For example, his budget.
Botox.
Cutting Medicare. But it shouldn't take that long. What the Republicans are doing that want torture. To be exploded by the big banks.
Wow.
Is so wrong. You have to give them credit for being brazen. And we'll just see how it goes. You might say, how do we help community banks? How do we help raise that number? I think that number could be raised.
I think the number. That's Nancy Pelosi. Like, her things are misfiring in her brain. Like, why she is still even. I don't know. It's just more garbage. More garbage. Nancy Pelosi. There she goes. Nice. So we're still waiting over here for the for that press briefing. That was edited to be this way. No, of course it was an edited clip, but over 15-minute period is what the article says. So this is over a 15-minute time frame that she stumbled 16 times. And if you've ever listened to Nancy Pelosi in the past, this is not out of character for her. This is right on par with how ridiculous she is, and how she just, she just should go away. Like, that's how I feel about her. Just go away. But sorry, Nancy Pelosi. But anyway, guys, if you're on Facebook already, you're on there. Our page was deleted, so now we got a new one up. Check us out. Like our page if you're on Facebook. We also got our Twitter, which is at JG Patriot Media here, so you can follow us on Twitter. And we are on Gab as well, guys. And I've been trying to live stream on Gab, and I know it's worked sometimes. They've been having problems with it, I guess, because I'm having an issue being able to live stream on it, but. We're going to work on it and fix it, but there's that. And then we got our Instagram, like I said before. I'll put that up again. And then, guys, if you like what we're doing here at Patriot Media, we need your support. We need your help. You can help us out at patreon.com/Patriot Media. It's actually scrolling right along the bottom of the screen, along with all of our other social medias, sites. So you can find us out here. And any little bit helps so we can expand the operation and really continue what we're doing. If we had the, and that brings me to my next point is that, see, like when you're a little guy like we are, and Facebook basically manhandles you like they did with us, we don't really have much recourse because we don't really have the ability to have, lawyers at our beck and call for every little thing. If it's something, because you're talking about Facebook here, and it could be simple, but I've got some people trying to help us out to get it back, but at this point, I've sort of realized that it's probably not coming back, and that we're just going to build up the new one. So, I mean, that's where we're at. Let me see here. I also had, so this is the live stream, guys, but I don't know if any of you guys actually saw Trump sign the bill for the tariffs, for the 25% steel tariff and the 10% tariff on aluminum, which is a big uproar. Everyone's like, "Oh no!" But it's like, are you kidding me? Like, this is like the best thing that could really happen to help rebuild the industries that's been sucked out of this country. So, here's this. We'll just pull this up, and this is him actually signing it. So, we'll just watch this real quick and see what he says here. So there he is. First one's for the steel, guys. This is 25% tariff on steel. The next one here is going to be the aluminum. Yeah, so I mean,
right?
yeah,
Sir,
absolutely.
we've been waiting for a long.
So anyway, that was that. If you guys didn't catch it, we got the press briefing in the background here. It's scheduled for 2:00. I would really don't think they're going to start exactly at 2, so we're just kind of going through some stuff. But if any of you guys have not seen what happened, this is what happens here. Let me just get the chat out for a second. So this is what it looked like when Facebook deleted our page, because I'm going to keep talking about it because a lot of people don't even realize that our Facebook page was deleted. I've posted it all over the place. I haven't really got a lot of people to apparently say, "Hey, Patriot Media has been deleted," so I'm just going to keep talking about it and let everybody know. So we removed something you posted. It looks like what they typically do when they pull down a post, something that they don't like, and they pull it down, and usually it's the post. In this case, it's my entire page. So they just deleted the whole page. And not only that, I don't have the other pictures up here, but before they did that, they would unpublish it all the time. They did all types of stuff to us, and we're just forced to rebuild from the ground up, basically. Let's see what's going on Facebook. Anything over here? So far he's doing everything he said he'd do. Yeah, absolutely. Cindy says fulfilling his campaign promises, and that is absolutely true. Trump has done so much of what he campaigned on, and has actually gotten a lot of it done in a short period of time. So that's 100% true. Thank you for sharing it, guys. People who are saying that they're sharing it on Facebook to get it out there, I appreciate that. Let's see. What else? We got other comments going on over here. Let's see what the story is. We got some stuff here. Yeah, I mean, so this is what we're doing, guys. We're just sort of hanging out. I thought I'd talk with you, but on a larger scale here, when we see, I had the article up. I think I took it down, but when we look at the school shooting that happened in Florida, and now they're like reprimanding the SWAT officers who responded to these, to the event, and they're getting reprimanded for that. Now, I don't really understand that. If you ask me, I don't really understand why. What isn't that what you're supposed to do? I mean, if you're an off-duty police officer and something goes, because believe me, if it was a police-involved shooting and an officer was down in the area, you would have, I guarantee you, every single police officer around there would have been there like lightning. Okay, they would have, it would have been immediate, because that's how they are with their own. Right? That's how they are. If one of them gets hit or one of them gets shot, they all are there. And I guarantee you the off-duty police officers will be there in plain clothes, armed, ready to help, and be there when they can. So I don't see what the problem is when you have SWAT team officers who were off duty, according to what it said, who responded to the event. And meanwhile, you have sheriff's officers standing outside the building as they hear shots. They claim that they thought it was outside, so that they thought that that's where everything was going on. But there's been multiple witnesses who said that they could hear inside. Okay, the shots were inside, and they stood outside and did nothing. So these SWAT team officers are receiving so much flack for doing what their job is. I don't really understand that. I do not really get how somebody can feel good about that decision to reprimand them. What did they do so wrong? Would they have gotten reprimanded if a police officer was shot and they responded without I'm saying that's the logic that they're using. So they're saying that a police officer is more important than our children. I'm a little confused. I'm a little confused as to what they're going for, what they're trying to say. I don't know, just me. I don't know what you guys think, but it would seem to me that how can you say and that you're going to reprimand these officers, but you're not going to reprimand them in other instances as well for doing that, because they would not get reprimanded if an officer was shot. And we're talking about one officer. We had a person who obviously had mental issues in a school shooting off many, many rounds, which were heard from outside, and you're telling me they're going to get reprimanded for that? I think it's a joke. If that's the case, then clearly they wanted it to happen. Right? If they're going to reprimand them in this case, a part of you would almost say, you know what, they probably, for some reason, wanted this to take place, because it doesn't make sense. You have the officer stand outside to do nothing. They hear multiple gunshots. Okay, then you have officers who respond, who do what the right thing to do is. They get reprimanded. So what does that say? You know what I'm saying? It gives very, very bad messages, and it kind of bothered me. So we touched on it a little bit the other night, but I really just kind of wanted to give you my 2 cents on that, because it's really quite ridiculous. So anyway, back to this women's march thing, because we've talked about it a little bit, and I talked about it earlier, but this is coming up just right around the corner, and you guys are going to see this. Let's see if it'll work here, and we can see where they all are. Okay, so they're going to populate over here, and you're going to see that this is something that they've been obviously going for this for a little while, trying to promote this, because here we are, and I'm waiting for it to populate here. I'm not sure what the problem is. There we go. So let's see. I don't know if this is going to work, but you can see all over. I mean, in Florida here, and I'm going to do some investigating here as far as what's going on around me. But I mean, look at this. Look at what they're doing. They cannot stop politicizing it. The same thing with this David Hogg clown. The David Hogg clown, clearly crisis actor. I mean, clearly not what he says he is. Okay, sorry, that's what I think. I don't think the guy is legit. I think he's put a show for the left to push their agenda. We know they've been pushing this agenda for a long time to try to restrict the Second Amendment, to try to take away firearms from people. They've been doing that for a long time. And so when we see this stuff, I don't know. We live in a crazy world, guys. We do. We really live in a crazy world. And, but at the same time, there's a lot of good things going on too. But that's not really highlighted as much, because that doesn't bring ratings. right? They don't want to tell you about the good stuff so much. They'll give you a heartfelt story on the news or something. Like one little story takes up 2 minutes. The remainder of their coverage is anti-Trump, just bashing, pushing globalist agenda, pushing the open borders type of mentality by not even calling illegal aliens. They keep on calling them immigrants, illegal immigrants, and a lot of times they just eliminate the word illegal altogether. Undocumented immigrant, that's what they really refer them to. So this is being pushed on so many different levels, and I've talked about this many times, as far as the different facets of how it's all happening through the media, through society, through and it really is the media, and it's not just the mainstream media as the news, but there are a huge problem. But you have to understand how many teenagers do you think actually watch the news? Right? I mean, I don't have a TV in my house, and I'll watch very few things. I'll watch a few people, and I don't watch them religiously. I'll watch them when I get a chance. I'll watch a lot of clips. I'll read certain things online. But how many teenagers do you really think watch the news? Okay, not that many. I could tell you. I don't know the numbers, but I'm sure that a poll could be done. How many of you guys watch the news? They don't watch that. You know what they're on? They're on this. They're on this all the time. On Snapchat, on Instagram, on the internet, and all these different things. And when you look at how it's manipulated, right? When you get an iPhone, okay, when you get an iPhone and you don't customize any of the stuff and you get it right out the box, what do you think that they're pushing onto your phone as far as news? What sources do you think that they're pushing? CNN. I've worked for cell phones for a very long time in the past. It's not what I do now, but the display units, okay, they have, they're live units out there, and you can see what goes on, and they're brand new, they're reset all the time, so they're basically just like how they would be when they come out of the box, and you watch these phones, and they're pushing out CNN, they're pushing out, the BuzzFeed crap, they're pushing out all of that stuff, and it's not just the phone manufacturer. You talk about Snapchat. Snapchat is a huge offender, okay, they post so much left-wing crap. So there's a difference between, there's two issues here. One is you have the censoring of conservatives, the blatant censorship of conservatives and conservative values. And on the other hand, you have the proliferation of left-wing nonsense that's being pushed out. Okay, so it's being put in front of everybody. And to try to find the other ones, it's buried or they just delete it. So when you look at that, that's what's really controlling the youth, and that's the problem here. Because that is indoctrination, because it becomes common practice that everybody thinks the same thing. It's like this group thought mentality, and I think that that's also part of the reason why the left is able to organize so much better, is because they're all working off the same playbook. I mean, for the most part, every single Democrat or left-wing clown is working out of the same playbook. I would like to know, I'm sure that there is something that goes out when something happens, that they send it out to all these people, that these are the talking points that we're going to discuss. We're going to say it this way. This is our angle. This is how we're going to do it. And everybody falls in line and just does it. They are organized. That is one thing about the left. They're annoying. Okay. They're really ignorant when it comes to a lot of things. They think that they're, the ruling elite over everyone. But the fact of the matter is that they are organized, even though what they're pushing is garbage. Okay, if we were as organized on the more conservative end, I think we would have a lot easier time doing the things that are getting done. But it's taking so much time because people on the right are more free thinkers. They allow other people to have different ideas than them and different thought processes than them. People on the left don't. And somehow they get them all into the same line where they're, hive, let's see, Dieter says on Facebook, hive mind mentality. Yeah, absolutely. He also says hogwash is creepy. I'm just going to read. Let me look at some of these comments, guys. Give me 1 second here. So we got the one mayor is using 60 buses for kids to take them to D.C. Seems fishy to me. You'd think they would want every trained officer available to respond as quickly as possible. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And that's exactly what I was saying about that. Is it should be, because they would have every officer respond for another officer being shot, because we've all seen those clips online. You could pull up cops, you could pull up whatever you want, anything, or ask any police officer the protocol of what happens when there's an officer down and see what they tell you, right? Let's see. Why not reprimand the captain that gave the stand down order? Well, I think it's Linda says that on Facebook. It's all of them. It's all of them, because the fact of the matter is that if those people, and this is the same type of issue that we have with Charlottesville, Berkeley, we have these people who are calling stand down orders, and if these, in my opinion, if these police officers actually really do care about the oath that they took, they should turn in their badge and go work for an agency that's not going to do that to them. And that was the same thing that was echoed with the Charlottesville video that we had on Patriot Media that had over 1 million views that got deleted. And that was all the people who were there at Charlottesville, and they were saying the same thing. Okay, that's really where it was said first like that, were the people from firsthand who accounted for that, and that was Charlottesville. Now, when we talk about Berkeley, that's been going on for a long time, and all the people who've out there been at those events at Berkeley said the same thing. They've all said the same sentiment. So, truthfully, if you are a police officer and you work for one of these agencies who are calling for these stand down orders, whether it's at a rally where Antifa is allowed to beat the crap out of people, or whether it's a shooting at a school, you should leave and go somewhere else, or at least make a big stink about it. Do something. Don't just sit back and take it. And that's what we're seeing, really. We're not seeing the uproar about it like we should. We're not. It's funny because they are more focused on the anti-Trump crap, okay, about and pushing the political aspect of this, than look at what happened and try to deal with it responsibly. They're not interested in that. They're interested in collecting your guns, taking them away from you. That's what they want to do. They've been chipping away at this for a really, really long time, everyone. Okay, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you already know this, but they've been doing this for a long time, slowly chipping away. And it's not just the Second Amendment, because they're doing it for the First Amendment too. And that's how the whole thing at Berkeley started. They would start rioting for people who were coming to speak, who were invited to speak, who they didn't agree with. It was Milo that was the first major incident where a riot like that started. But when you're talking about they were having free speech rallies, and Antifa was coming up there throwing bottles, doing what they were doing, and the orders were to stand down to the police. Same thing we see in Charlottesville. Same thing happened there. It was a complete setup. Now, were there people there at Charlottesville that I would want to have absolutely no association with? 100%. But there was also a lot of people out there who were there for the First Amendment and who, were there for the right reasons, not because they're some anti-Semitic KKK white supremacist, okay? I mean, that's just the way it is. But everything that's going on, I just want to double back, guys, to what I was saying from the beginning for people that I'm missing some of these comments. How many times do Muslims pray each day? Are you a Muslim for Trump? No, I'm Jewish. I'm sorry, I totally missed some of these comments, guys. I got to put it over here so I can see it more. Okay. Let me scroll back here. Josh is not Muslim. He is Jewish. Yes, that's correct. I'm Jewish. Yes. And Jersey also talked about helping us out at Patriot Media by going to patreon.com/Patriot Media. So I would like to throw that up here, guys. So if you're interested and you like what we're doing here, again, we're waiting on the press briefing from Sarah Sanders. We talked about some things earlier, but I do want to throw this out here because we really need your support. We have actually lost patrons because I think people thought that we were gone off of Facebook. We are not gone. We are here. We're just had to deal with the Zuck, and so we're trying to get back to where we were, which is going to take a long time. It took us well over a year to get the page we had, but without your guys' support, we can't do it. Yeah. So, and this is our Instagram, and this was an interesting one here that I found. It says naval intelligence officer who predicted 9/11 wrote this in 1991, and it basically talks about how the CIA was trying basically to create a situation where they would then be able to scare the public into thinking of all this crime, this violence, this gun violence. And what they would do then is they would have the middle class America screaming to try to come in and take away the guns. And that's exactly what we're dealing with right now. What's it matter? How do you know he's not an Arab? He looks Arab to me. I'm not. I'm Jewish. And is what it is. Anyway, so I'm just watching Twitter here in front of me. I'm also just trying to check some Facebook comments here. Let's see. They have to target the youth at their age. They care more about being included and have more insecurity. Yeah. Yep. They're hiding too much to cover their tracks. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of. And that's the thing, guys. Everything is just so out of whack, but the truth is out there. You just got to look for it, right? You got to know where to go. And that's what I'm trying to do here at Patriot Media. And I've been trying to do that, is give you my take on it. And a lot of people seem to agree with my take because they like coming and seeing what I have to say. They have before. I've been doing this for, like I say, a little while. But most of it was on Facebook. So now we've been branching out recently, and we're going to different platforms. My understanding is, I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket anymore. The goal of what I'm trying to do is get my message out there and create a forum where we can show you some things that you may or may not see on the news, but give you like a real everyday person's perspective, because you're not going to get that on TV most of the time or in the mainstream media at all. You're going to get whatever they're programmed to tell you. Okay, I don't have a script here. There's no script. There's no anything. This is just me talking with you guys. This is not some, I have to prepare, well, of course, what I'm going to put up on the screen, and I have to, find the videos and all that, of course, the preparation. But as far as what I'm going to say when I come on here, I just have the topics. And I feel that that's kind of the best way, because I'm really talking to you guys from the heart, from what I really feel, what I really believe. And sometimes people are going to like it, and sometimes they're not. I've said things in the past that basically have caused some issues with certain people, and that's it. What do you think about the latest? The latest what exactly? I mean, we've talked about everything sort of that's going on. What I think is this: when we pull up this situation over here, and we're gonna get it. Let me just get the Instagram off the screen here. But when we talk about the Trump and Kim Jong-un, according to QAnon, they said that they've already met. Do I think that's a possibility? Sure. I think that there could have been 100%. I think that this could be at this point like an optics play to make it. I don't really know. I'm not part of the campaign. I couldn't tell you. I'm not in the White House. But according to QAnon, Trump and Kim Jong-un have already met during the trip of the Asia trip or whatnot. So as far as the tariffs. So you want to know as far as the tariffs. I personally think that the tariffs are a great thing, and I'll explain to you why. The tariffs are only there if another country has the tariff on us. So if they want to have, he called it reciprocal trade, right? Reciprocal trade, or a mirror tax is what he was calling it. So basically what it means is that if you're China and you're charging a 25% import tax from any brand or company from the United States, and they have a product and they send it over there and you charge them 25%. Well, guess what? You send products over here, we're going to charge you 25%. I think it's very straightforward, actually, and I think that's the way deals should be done. I don't agree with this whole globalization situation. And it's funny because when we look at what happened with Gary Cohn, Trump called him out as a globalist in the office. All the reports that are coming out says that he's a globalist. Cohn went and sat down on the couch, and that was the end of it. And he knew, and that's what happened. So according to the reports I found and different things that people have said, this was the course of action. Trump called him out. Trump knows what he's doing, guys. I mean, and if you think that he doesn't, you're watching too much mainstream media and reading too much garbage, and you're not researching it on your own. Because the fact of the matter is, Trump has done as much as he really can in the period of time that he can to accomplish what he said on the campaign trail, which is really unheard of. You don't see that. You don't see any politicians do what they actually do what they say. You don't really see that. And not only that, how many things, just the sheer magnitude of how many things have been done. A lot. I think them talking is a good thing. It is a good thing if you're talking about Korea and them, but it is. We don't need him proliferating nuclear weapons. Period. And the end of that. Guess you never got a tan from the sun before? Okay, I guess talking to somebody else must be a cool. Do Arab guy get I don't know, man. I don't know the answer to those questions. I don't know what they do. I know some of them like to try to blow themselves up. I know that. That's about what I know. I know they like to do that, but as far as what else they do, I couldn't really tell you. I don't know. The briefing is starting.
Policies of historic tax cuts and deregulation are working. The Obama administration was losing around 1,000 jobs a month in the manufacturing industry, but since the president's election, manufacturing jobs have increased by 275,000. Over 300,000 jobs were created in February alone, bringing the total number of jobs created since President Trump was elected to nearly 3 million. The federal government is getting out of the way, and the American people are innovating, building, and creating jobs. In other news today, the president has pardoned Christian Saucier, a Navy submariner. Mr. Saucier was 22 years old at the time of his offenses and has served out his 12-month sentence. He has been recognized by his fellow service members for his dedication, skill, and patriotic spirit. While serving, he regularly mentored younger sailors and served as an instructor for new recruits. The sentencing judge found that Mr. Saucier's offense stands in contrast to his commendable military service. The President is appreciative of Mr. Saucier's service to the country. With that, I will take your questions. John.
Sarah, what are the considerations that are under discussion for the location that this meeting between the President and Kim Jong-un would take place?
Yeah, as we said last night, a time and place have not yet been determined. We'll certainly make those announcements when more decisions and more information is available on that front.
What are the considerations that are under discussion for where this could take place? I mean, I take it you wouldn't want to have it in downtown Pyongyang.
Yeah, and we're not going to have those conversations between me and you and the press. Those will be conversations that take place at a much higher level and certainly outside of this room. John, sure.
The South Korean National Security Advisor said that the U.S. responded positively to a South Korean request for a waiver on the steel tariffs. Can you tell us where you are on that?
As the president's proclamation said yesterday, there were 2 countries that were specifically excluded, and there would be the opportunity for us to negotiate on matters of national security with other countries, and we're going to be doing that with a number of different countries. Jonathan.
Sir, does the president think that Kim Jong-un is sincere about talking about denuclearization?
The president is hopeful that we can make some continued progress. Well, look, what we know is that the maximum pressure campaign has clearly been effective. We know that it has put a tremendous amount of pressure on North Korea, and they have made some major promises. They've made promises to denuclearize. They've made promises to stop nuclear and missile testing, and they've recognized that regular military exercises between the U.S. and its ally, South Korea, will continue. The maximum pressure campaign, we're not letting up. We're not going to step back or make any changes to that. We're going to continue in that effort.
See what else the
and we're
fake
not
news
going
says.
to have this meeting take place until we see concrete actions that match the words and the rhetoric.
They can't
of
handle
North Korea.
it. The left can't handle
Do
it.
you think that Kim Jong-un can be trusted as a negotiating partner?
They're losing it.
Well, look, we're not in the negotiation right now. We've accepted the invitation to talk based on them following through with concrete actions on the promises that they've made.
And if I could
Jeff.
just ask you just one other thing. Lindsey Graham said about this news. He said, a word of warning to North Korean President Kim Jong-un, the worst possible thing you can do with Donald Trump in person is to meet with him in person and try to play him. If you do that, it will be the end of you and your regime. Is
Ain't gonna
Lindsey
happen.
Graham reading the president correct on that? Is that
I
correct?
think that Lindsey Graham knows that President Trump is one of the best negotiators, and certainly I think that he has great confidence in his ability and is glad that he'll be the one at the table for the United States. I think Senator Graham has been on the other side of that and certainly knows the capabilities and the determination of President Trump. Jeff.
Sarah, why did the president accept this invitation without any preconditions? For example, without demanding that the North Koreans release the 3 Americans.
These idiots don't know how to make deals.
Look, that's something that we're going to continue advocating for and pushing for, but let's not forget that the North Koreans did promise something. They've promised to denuclearize, they've promised to stop nuclear and missile testing, and they've recognized that we're going to continue in our military exercises.
Right, but that doesn't matter
Let's
to
be
them.
very clear, the United States has made 0 concessions, but North Korea has made some promises, and again, this meeting won't take place without concrete actions that match the promises that have been made by North Korea.
I wanted to follow up on that because you just said that now. Do you think that a 2-month time period is enough time to make sure that they will actually fulfill those promises? He said he wants to do it by May.
Look, we're working on the determination of the time, but let's not be lost in the fact that this didn't happen overnight. This maximum pressure campaign and this process has been ongoing since the president first took office. For the first time in a long time, the United States is actually having conversations from a position of strength, not a position of weakness like the one that North Korea finds itself in due to the maximum pressure campaign.
Does that mean it might not be May?
Again, we haven't set a time or a location. Those things have yet to be determined.
Losing it.
They promised to denuclearize. Have they promised to denuclearize, or have they promised to talk about denuclearizing?
The understanding, the message from the South Korean delegation is that they would denuclearize, and that is what our ultimate goal has always been, and that will have to be part of the actions that we see them take.
Sarah.
We have to see concrete and verifiable actions take place.
Sarah,
Yes.
Before the meeting.
Yeah.
Sarah, isn't the president giving Kim Jong-un exactly what he wants, which is respect and stature on the international stage?
Not at all. I think that the president is getting exactly what he wants. He is getting the opportunity to have the North Koreans actually denuclearize. Look, you have to remember, nothing is changing from the United States position. We're going to continue the maximum pressure campaign. We're going to continue working with our allies and partners to do that, and we're going to continue to ask them to step up and do more. Nothing is changing from our side when it comes to this conversation.
There's no guarantee this will be any more than a photo op. Kim Jong-un gets his equal footing, in his view, on the world stage with the leader of the free world. And the president gets nothing.
Oh my.
Yeah, I
break.
definitely don't think that the president's getting nothing when we've already said, and frankly I've said it many times since walking in here in the last 10 minutes, that the president will not have the meeting without seeing concrete steps and concrete actions take place by North Korea. So the president would actually be getting something, and frankly the world would be getting something. If we can get to a place where North Korea is denuclearizing, that is a massive step, and it's something that will make the entire globe much safer. And even President Moon has said that this is because of the leadership of President Trump.
And one softball question, which is,
of course
and
it is.
I apologize for that, which is, given the economic news and the North Korea news, what words would you use to describe the president's mood right now?
The president's in a great mood. The president's been in a great mood because we've had not just a successful couple of days, we've had a successful year, and we're very focused on making sure we have 7 more.
Sarah, thank you. Top officials at the White House and at the Pentagon seem to be taken by surprise by the announcement. Was this done in a haphazard way?
Not at all. As I said, that this has been part of an ongoing campaign that's been going for over a year. And just because some of the individuals that they regularly leak to the press weren't involved in the conversation doesn't mean that the appropriate parties that lead those agencies were not in the room and not part of that discussion.
The president came here to the briefing room, though, before reaching out to the president of China. Is that appropriate? Should we not have reached out to his international partners first before making the announcement here?
Look, we've had ongoing conversations with leaders across the world. The president simply said there would be an announcement. He had several conversations with world leaders both last night and today.
Were you aware he would make his decision beforehand?
Again, the president had conversations with a few of world leaders both last night and today. This is something that all of these countries have been working together on, and something that we're going to continue to work with our allies and partners on.
Was the Secretary of State aware that he was going to make that decision, Sarah?
Yeah, and the Secretary of State's deputy was in the room at the time these conversations went on, so it's absurd to pretend like they weren't part of this process and haven't been part of this process all along. Jeff?
Sarah, to follow on what Peter was asking, how will the President and the United States be able to verify this before the meeting? How will they be able to verify the denuclearization?
That's something that will be determined through the national security and intelligence community. Certainly not something I would read out to you guys from here.
The President has said repeatedly that previous presidents, his predecessors, have mishandled this and misplayed this. Why can he be so confident that this is the right move when just
'Cause he's
in
not a
October,
clown.
he was telling his own Secretary of State it would be a waste of time to talk directly?
Well, I think
guys
it's really
are a
clear
waste
that
of
they've
time.
misplayed it, or we wouldn't be in the position that we're in. The president wouldn't be having to clean up the mistakes of the previous 3 administrations. The president is getting promises out of North Korea that haven't been made in any recent years. And again, we are going to continue the maximum pressure campaign to make sure that they follow through on these commitments. John?
Who would he like to have with
Sorry,
him
I'm
at the
going to keep
meeting?
moving.
If I can just ask, who would he like to have with him at the meeting? The Secretary of State, I mean, there is not an ambassador now in South Korea. Does he plan to step up more before this meeting?
Look, the president has an incredible team that is surrounding him, both from National Security Advisor, Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of State, the intelligence community. But at the end of the day, the ultimate person to lead that negotiation or that conversation and be at the table will be the president. John.
Thanks a lot, Sarah. The North Korean government has made promises before. They've reneged on those promises in 2 prior administrations. What's different now? Why should we trust?
Because it's
President
Trump.
Trump now?
Again, because the United States is going to continue that maximum pressure campaign.
It's called the Trump effect.
We are making no concessions, and we are not going to move forward until we see concrete and verified actions taking place by North Korea. We are also operating from a position of strength that we haven't had in previous
Trump
administrations due to the maximum pressure campaign, not just by the United States. Let's not forget that a lot of our allies and partners like China, South Korea, Japan have stepped up and done infinitely more over the past year due to the president's leadership than they have in the previous administration. So this is a collective effort to put that pressure on North Korea, and it's going to continue. North Korea is in a place of weakness, and that is certainly recognized by the promises that they've made through this conversation. Francesca?
Has starved his own people. He's murdered his own people. You could say he's responsible for the death of Otto Warmbier. Why put him on the same stage as the President of the United States?
It's so funny how quick they change their tune.
The president wants to make sure that we denuclearize the peninsula and that we're securing and helping have a safer world. I'm glad that you guys are acknowledging a lot of the problems of North Korea, because just a couple of weeks ago, a lot of members in the press were actually elevating North Korea and some of the members of the regime and comparing them to people in the United States and in this administration. I think that is actually what put North Korea on a similar stage. No action by this administration has even remotely demonstrated a level of rise that the media did during the Olympics and through some of those stories.
That's right.
Francesca.
Thank you, Sarah. Yesterday, a South Korean official came out to the stakeout location and said that this meeting would be taking place by May. But you did not say that in your original statement. That's not what you said today, that a place and time has not been set. So was there some sort of a miscommunication by that? Because that is definitely what had been said by Mr. Chung yesterday evening.
No, I'm simply saying that a time and place haven't yet been set.
Okay, and so moving on from that point, can you kind of explain to us how this did end up coming about last night? Because we had the president pop his head in here at roughly close of business and say to supporters who were around that there was going to be this announcement.
Maybe that's y'all's close of business. Our hours must be a little later than y'all's.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you guys were all still here.
So popped his head in here, though, and said that there would be an announcement coming around 7 p.m. from the South Koreans. Then the White House ends up telling us that it will be here on this property. Then it wasn't until an hour after that that you even sent out a statement affirming the details, some of the details, not the May part, of what this announcement that President Trump would be meeting with
They're
Kim
losing
Jong-un.
their minds.
Can you walk us through how that all happened
They're
from
losing
the
it.
president popping in here to the fact that a South Korean official, not the White House, briefed us on our own property outside?
Again, this was the result of the South Korean delegation who had met with the North Koreans earlier in the week, coming here to give us an update on their conversations and their meetings and relaying that information and us responding to that. And the reason for the South Koreans, I believe that was the end of your question, addressing is because those were the individuals that had directly spoken with the North Koreans, and they were the ones that were making that response.
It was the president's idea to come in here and make that statement?
Yeah, absolutely. It was the president's idea to come into the briefing room and alert you all of an announcement coming a couple hours later.
So dumb.
On the issue of denuclearization, and going back to Peter and Jeff, there's a black hole when it comes to intelligence as to what's really happening in North Korea. What is going to be put in place specifically to qualify and quantify what is actually there? When you talk about denuclearization, what are you denuclearizing? How many? We don't know specifically. What is in place? Are you going to employ world bodies beyond what you have? What is in place? What do you plan on doing?
That's something that's going to be determined by the intelligence community, the national security team, and not something that I would relay from the podium to all of you.
But it's very important when you have something, some kind of meeting of this nature, it's very important to understand what is at play, because he could say, I'm denuclearizing and not denuclearize everything.
I think it's very important for our intelligence communities and our national security community to understand that, and they do. And that is going to be a major part of any conversation, and something, though, I'm not going to relay at this point, certainly ahead of any conversation.
One more subject, last question. Did President Trump, when did President Trump, after that photo, see Stormy Daniels? Did he text, email? Do you have any other information?
I don't. We've addressed this extensively, and I don't have anything else to add. Deborah?
Sarah. I have a California question. Wednesday, Governor Brown said that Donald Trump was declaring war on California. Now, I know that the president's given Jerry Run money.
I knew this was going to come out.
Have they talked on the phone recently? And when the president goes to California next week, will it be war or will it be peace?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the last part.
Will it, when the president goes to California, will it be war or will it be peace?
Look, I think if anybody is stepping out of bounds here, it would be someone who's refusing to follow federal law, which is certainly not the president. And we're going for what we hope to be an incredibly positive trip. The president's going to look at prototypes along the border and also meet with and speak to the members of our armed services. He'll be speaking with members from all 5 branches of the military, and I don't think that could be anything but a positive thing. John?
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. 2 brief questions. Stating the date coming up and who might accompany the president or who's expected to accompany them, could we assume then that General McMaster will remain National Security Advisor throughout the duration of the negotiations?
I have no reason to believe otherwise.
And that means, so it could be in the fall of this year, it could be later, but he'll still be on there to advise.
Look, I don't have a crystal ball to predict the future, but the president's national security advisor is General McMaster. He's a valued member of the president's team and an important part of this process.
Anywhere.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
He's not leaving anytime soon.
Not that I'm aware of.
Sarah.
Sarah, yeah, Brian, go ahead.
Thanks. Different policy questions for you, different issue. 3 weeks ago, the president came out in a speech and said, we're going to have the largest nuclear force ever. Hopefully, we'll never have to use it. We're going to be so far ahead of everyone else in nuclear like you've never seen before, far in excess of anyone else. And as far as disarmament, he said, we won't lead the way. We will go along with them. The day after that, OMB Director Mulvaney came in here and said that you all were going to spend close to, or proposing to spend close to $50 billion to upgrade and enhance the nuclear arsenal. Week after that, the president or the head of Russia came out and said he has a first strike weapon. Now, whether or not you believe that he has a first strike weapon, isn't it inherently dangerous for the owners of the 2 largest nuclear arsenals to engage in brinkmanship? And why are we abandoning our role as a peacemaker in disarmament?
I don't think that's the point anyone's making. The president wants to make sure that we have the most robust and modern military. He's been in constant conversations with the Secretary of Defense and acting in large part on the recommendations of the Secretary. And I think everybody can certainly rest assured knowing that Secretary Mattis is making good decisions when it comes to how best to rebuild and modernize the military.
This is global thermonuclear war we're talking about. You don't come back from that. Isn't it dangerous to talk about
this guy?
I think it's dangerous to push something that is a narrative that is not at all what this administration is pushing.
Mainstream media at it again, guys. There they go.
We're talking about the safety and security of this country. We're talking about making sure we have the strongest military in the world so that we can operate from a place of strength, and that's what we're doing. Take one. Sorry, I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to take one last question, Hallie.
Denuclearization.
Just 2 questions, Sarah, clarifying what you've said from the podium. Is there a possibility that these talks with North Korea with Kim Jong-un may not happen?
Look, they've got to follow through on the promises that they've made, and we want to see concrete and verifiable action on that front.
So it's possible that
I mean, there are a lot of things possible. I'm not going to sit here and walk through every hypothetical that could exist in the world, but I can tell you that the president has accepted that invitation on the basis that we have concrete and verifiable steps.
And then second, you said from the podium, you acknowledge that the
There's some
president
breaking news right now, guys.
in April's
Give me a sec
question,
here.
knows about the arbitration involving Stormy Daniels. So does he remember speaking with his lawyer about that? Does he remember meeting Daniels back in
I've addressed
2006?
this extensively. I don't have anything else to add. Sorry, I did tell Trey. I'll take one last question.
Thanks, Sarah. Quickly on North Korea, what specific steps is the president taking to prepare for this major summit with Kim Jong-un?
Look, the president has been preparing for this for quite some time. In his regular briefings with the intelligence community, with his national security team, he's going to continue doing that, and with other subject matter experts. But also, the president is, I think, the ultimate negotiator and deal maker when it comes to any type of conversation, as I think is reflected in Senator Graham's statement. And we feel very confident where we are. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great weekend.
All right, so there it is. They just ended it, guys, and I just there is some breaking news right now, actually, while we're live. So that's at least I'm able to tell you about it right now. This came out 1 minute ago, guys, from the Associated Press. It says that a fire captain says there's a gunman that has taken hostages at a large veterans home in California. I don't have all the details yet. This is just a tweet here. It says police closed access to the home after a man with a gun was reported in the grounds. So apparently right now we have some kind of a standoff in California at a veterans home. So I don't know. As there's more information, I'll try to tweet it out, guys. Again, that's one of the reasons why you want to make sure that you follow us on our Twitter, Patriot Media Twitter here, JG Patriot Media. You can follow us there. We also, like I said, guys, let me just bounce Korea out of here. Our YouTube, please go over there and subscribe if you are not a subscriber of our YouTube channel. And if you are a subscriber, or once you do subscribe, make sure that you press that little bell so that way you will know, and it will notify you every time that there's a live or when we upload a video there. And our Instagram, guys, we're having a good, our Instagram is fun. I like Instagram. It's pretty cool. You know, I mean, they censor too, but hey, you know, they've removed some of my posts, but they haven't deleted my page yet, so we're okay. JG Patriot Media on Instagram, we're there. And then again, guys, if you really like what we're doing here, we need your support. How can you do that? By going to patreon.com/Patriot Media. You can do $1 a month, whatever, you know, whatever it is helps us be able to expand this operation and to continue it and to keep improving it. You guys will notice from one live stream to another, I keep trying to incorporate different things. I keep trying to fine tune it and tweak it. I keep trying to just improve my craft, is what I call it. My craft, you know, this is what I'm doing. I really enjoy doing it. I like doing it for you guys. You guys seem to also enjoy it, and you know, you get shared around, and I thank you so much for that. So all you guys are, you know, we're in this together. We're in this together, right? I mean, all you guys that liked and followed and shared and everything. I mean, I'm sure to hear that our Facebook page was deleted was probably like, okay. I mean, you know, we probably saw it coming, because I came out, just so everybody knows, okay. I came out months and months and months ago about Facebook talking about their facial recognition, which now they have it as an option. You can, do you want to turn it on or off? Well, let me tell you something. They've been using it behind the scenes for a long time. They just didn't tell you, okay? I know that for a fact. Not only that, I talked about the shadow banning, right? I made a whole video on how Patriot Media was shadow banned. That's on our YouTube channel. And then I also showed when they just straight up deleted our pages. After all that, they unpublished it. They did all types of things. So I talked about all this. More and more people are starting to talk about it. And people have talked about it before me. People have talked about it after me. But a lot of the circles that, you know, the people who watch this on Facebook are in, they will now see that more people are talking about it. And because we were all sort of part of this, you know, Patriot whatever circle. But it happened to me. My account was hacked. There's all types of things that have happened that I've talked about. Unfortunately, there's really not a whole lot of record of it because the page is gone. But again, that's why you can go over to YouTube and check us out. But okay, so getting back to just quickly, and then we're probably going to call this. But do you see the left, how they're losing their minds? And what she said is right, and I said it too in the stream, which is basically, you go back a few weeks and they were propping up Kim Jong-un's sister, saying that she was more of a something greater than the fact that the people that Ivanka and you know, saying that she looks better, whatever. There's a whole thing. You can look it up. The mainstream media went crazy over Kim Jong-un's sister fell over, and so they're propping up him, the regime, all of that. And now all of a sudden, now it's like, oh, well, why is Trump going to, to deal with somebody? How do you know? Because he's this type of person and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But the whole time they were trying to make it seem like he's some kind of good guy. Okay, they were taking any position they can against Trump because they know that come 2020, he's going to get elected again. Look at all the things that's happening. Look at all the jobs. Look at all the, these are people, okay? These are not elites. These are a lot of people. And those people are the voters. Those are the people that make up this country. So if you get that as your base because you're doing the right thing, which is giving the power back to the people and lowering taxes so that the money that they earn, they get to take home more of it, you're going to see that, those people are going to say, wow, you know what? I really like President Trump. Regardless of what the mainstream media has to say, because they've been pushing this Russia crap forever, and come to find out that there's absolutely nothing, which is what was said from the beginning. The only thing that was found is that the Democrats are really the guilty party here, of course. And there was an article I had, but I don't have it up right now. But basically, the Democrats are looking again. This issue comes and goes, but they were looking to remove the superdelegate process that they have during their primaries. They've talked about it a bunch, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, we're in support of it." And so now that talk is back again, and the Democrats are talking about removing the superdelegates. And the whole superdelegate process, when I looked into it, was actually created in the '80s because they were getting their butts whooped, and so they had to figure out a better way of getting of creating a ticket that would possibly get them a win. And so that's really what this all was created out of, the super delegates, because it's really just a strong arming of the voice of the people. Now, I don't, anybody who continually votes Democrat, when you see the policies that they enact and when you see how they are, I have to question why. But the super delegates is a sheer way for them to just hijack it, because the fact of the matter is as we all know, is that Bernie got robbed. Now, I'm not a Bernie guy at all, obviously. I think he's a loony. I think he absolutely should never be president. But the fact is that he rightfully won the nomination, and they gave it to Hillary because of the super delegates. That's how she got the nomination. And now, because they lost so horribly, they realize she's a horrible candidate. They're doubling back now, and they're like, well, maybe we really should get rid of this super delegate thing. But the problem is they're also corrupt. Okay, they're also corrupt. That they don't trust the people. They think that they know better. That's the whole left ideology, is that they think they know better than everyone else. So they think that, oh well, no, it doesn't matter what people say. We're just going to prop this candidate up because we think that this is the right one. And all the talks, honestly, what they're trying to come up with, I've seen rumors of different things, and now another rumor is the Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren 2020 ticket. So could you imagine the disaster that's going to be? I mean, that's like you're scraping the bottom of the barrel. I mean, the only thing that could be worse than that would be a Sanders Pelosi ticket or a Sanders and Maxine Waters. I mean, you can't get. They're all equivalent because they're all garbage. They're all garbage. So it doesn't matter which combination you put them in, but they're all garbage. But can you Sanders and Warren Democratic 2020 ticket? So that's what's being talked about now. I think that's absurd. But yeah, she also did talk about how Trump pardoned the former Navy sailor in prison for taking photos on the submarine. So that was a ridiculous story. Because he didn't do it for any sort of espionage reasons. It was more like, hey, mom and dad, like, look at where I'm at, look at where I work, being like most people would do. Didn't realize he probably did something wrong and got in trouble for it. But yet we have all of the stuff that Hillary Clinton has done, and there's no consequences because, come to find out, it was rigged from the beginning before they ever even started investigating. But there still are open investigations, and we all sit hopeful that Hillary Clinton will see her time in jail and prison, and along with the rest of these corrupt politicians. And if they're on the right, I mean, they should go too. Honestly, if they were part of any of that stuff, left or right doesn't matter when it comes to the law. The law is the law. Doesn't matter whether you're conservative, a liberal, an independent. Makes no difference. But you can't do what was done by Hillary Clinton and not have consequences. But unfortunately, where we're sitting right now is she is not in jail. And do you realize all the stuff that she did? I could go in my car and go an excessive amount of speed, and they will arrest me for that, and I will get charges. But if I'm Hillary Clinton and I commit all the crimes that she did and all of the the schemes and the selling off of the 20% of America's uranium and all the corrupt things that she did, deleting 33,000 emails when she had a subpoena, all these things, and she doesn't see 1 second in jail, but I can go too fast on the road and you're going to haul me off to jail. What's wrong with our system, right? That's a problem. I mean, look, you know what? Actually, I'll make it even better for you. I could get a ticket for who knows what, for not stopping completely at a stop sign. I could get a ticket from a police officer. They pull me over. I get it. I forget about it. I don't take care of it. I totally forget about it, and it doesn't get paid for some reason. Carries on. They suspend my license, and I'm out driving. They can actually arrest you for that. For not paying a ticket for like $100, they will arrest you and put you in jail. But we can't put Hillary Clinton in jail where she belongs for all of the crimes that she committed. Something's wrong, right? Something's wrong. So that's got to happen. This whole thing with California that's going on, getting sued, is amazing. I can't wait to see that. I'm going to grab my popcorn, sit back and watch all these crybaby liberals that think they can hijack the country while they're going to be crying. They're going to need their safe spaces. So, that's going to happen because they're going to get the smackdown. Like, enough is enough. I mean, Trump's been talking about this for a long time. Many, many people said they want to defund, California basically for many, many different reasons. I can't wait to see all this, how it's going to play out, because as far as I'm concerned, California needs the beatdown. They do. They need the beatdown because they're like that unruly child. Like, they are that super unruly child that thinks they could do whatever they want. And when they don't get their way, they kick and scream and they blame everyone else. Well, you know what? They need to be handled. And I'm glad to see that something is being done. I'm not a huge fan of Jeff Sessions right now because I at the beginning I thought he would be good, but he hasn't really done a whole lot of anything as far as I'm concerned. You still have the Clintons running free, and that's a big one for me. I want to see her behind bars like most of us do. He's got to step it up as far as I'm concerned, but we'll see how this California thing plays out. We'll see how it plays out because this is a good start. This is a good start for something. It doesn't have anything to do with Clinton, but it's a good start. So we'll see. Let me check out, see if there's anything going here on Facebook real quick. And if not, we'll probably just call this, but let's see. Defund California, Karen says, absolutely. If this is live, can you say Bill Clinton is a sex predator? Yeah, there you go, one. Bill Clinton is a sex predator. He's actually a rapist. So it's Bill Clinton's a rapist if you actually want to talk about it. I thought somebody came in. Let's see. I thought my wife was home. Thanks, Josh. Enjoyed the video. Thank you, Linda. Thank you for watching and tuning in and sharing. And that's another thing, guys. If you're catching this, make sure you hit that like button, hit the follow. If you're on Periscope and you're still watching right now, throw some hearts up. I saw there were some super hearts that were given. Thank you very much. YouTube, hit the thumbs up, share it. We just got to get this stuff out here. This is I'm kind of reformulating everything of how I'm doing it, and you can kind of see the evolution as you watch the videos and see everything. I keep adding this, I keep taking away this, I'm tweaking it, trying to figure it out, and you guys are along for the journey, so I appreciate all your help, everything that you guys do. Let's see, what else? Anything else on here? 3 hostages in active shooting, Cindy says, and that has to do with the California thing I just mentioned as far as there being it's an active shooting now, or is it still a standoff? I'm not sure. I will have to check on that. Let me see if there's any more news on that. Let me take a look. Let's see. So this says breaking now. Jerusalem Post says Trump will not meet Kim without seeing concrete steps, but we kind of know that. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not breaking. Veterans home in California and Yountville on lockdown after reports of shots fired. So now it's from. I'm wondering if there's a live stream of this somewhere that I could pick up. Maybe, I don't know. Let me see if it'll work. I might be overtaxing my computer here for it to work, but we're gonna see what happens. But according to this, it's now gone from a man with a gun to an actual shooting. I'm gonna see if I can pull up a live stream for you guys right now, because it's probably, I would think they're probably covering it right now. So let's see if we can get that and pull it in, and I'll try to drop it in here. But anyway, I mean, yeah, I'm just trying to look here because this is crazy. I mean, all this stuff, like the gun violence, like what do they think this is going to do? Is this another, are they trying to take our guns away? Of course they are. Are they going to try to use every single thing that happens as a political move to keep trying to infringe? Absolutely. Well, let's see how they politicize this one. They're not going to, we don't know. I don't know anything about who it is at the moment. I haven't been able to locate that information, but just bear with me, guys. You know, we're just hanging out right now. I'm trying to see if I could find a some kind of live stream on this where we could just play it and kind of see what's going on. Let's see. I don't know if it's going to come up or not, but okay. So they confirm there's an active shooter, but I'm not seeing anything live. We're seeing some videos. I see something from MSNBC. But this is a while ago. Where's today? I don't know. I'm having a hard time finding something right now. I would think that there is a live stream available that where somebody's probably talking about this, more than likely. Let me see if it's on here. We're gonna see how much.
Because you get down to
no, they're talking about midterms right now.
Yeah,
so they're not
race like
there's not a coverage right now on it. So okay, well if it changes, you know, I'll put something up there for you guys to take a look at. But right now I can't see. I cannot find a live stream about the active shooting in California right now, but I'm looking at Twitter over here and seeing what is going on. Yeah, they're obviously there's a lot of talk about the tariffs. There's a lot of talk about the Korea thing developing. Let me see if I can pull this up. So reports of shot fired at Yountville Veterans Home. I think I'm saying that right. Yountville Veterans Home. 3 people were taken as hostages and shots were fired at the Veterans Home of California. Okay, let me actually, you know what? Let me see if I can pull this up for you guys, because this I should be able to pull up, I think. So we'll do that, and so you guys can take a look and see what, instead of me reading it to you, hopefully I'll be able to get it to pull up. Let's see. Yeah, it's a little bit of a challenge because I have to grab the link because this is something that's breaking right now. So I didn't have it set up in a way where I didn't have to like go crazy trying to find it. It wasn't prepared. So let me see if I can put it in here. But that's what they're saying. So I'll just read you a little bit of it. 30 police. There's about 30 police there at the vet's home. There's a shooter here. That's what they were saying. And it serves the large Napa Valley area. It has a 1,200 seat Lincoln Theater in it, so it's a fairly large place. It's a fairly large place. Now let me see if what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do this manually, guys. We're going to let me see. Just bear with me here, guys, if you don't mind. I know it's a little boring just listening to me talk here, but I think that this is definitely something. Let me just pull it up so you guys can see it. It looked like there was some little video there too. This is very, very taxing on my computer, guys. So if it starts chopping or doing different things, that's why. Because it's very taxing. I got like a million things going. But yeah, right now there's shots fired and there's 3 hostages taken. And of course this is not going to let me do this that way. So we're just going to have to do it this way. And we're going to add it. So what you're seeing in the background, guys, that's our Patreon page. So that is where you can go and help us out. I'm trying to manually type this in because I was not able to find it. So it's going to take me 1 second here, but I'm going to pull up an article. Hopefully it works. And we're almost there. I have to literally type out the entire link. This is not what I had in mind. All right, let's just hope I typed that in right because I'm not going to do it again. Oh, come on. Come on, you could do it. Nope, I guess not. All right, well, so much for that idea. I guess I tried to be a little try to be a little bit proactive over here, and it didn't work out. So anyway, where's the chat back? Oh, okay, so we got people joining. Learn as you go. Yeah, that's right, Hammer. That's exactly right. Why? I wish I could just find this and pull it up. It'd be so much easier. I really am like determined to do this. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Great. Okay, so I might actually be able to pull it up now. Let me close this out. Alrighty, so let's try this again. We're going to switch back over to the sites here. Again, that's our Patreon, because that's what's up right now. We're going to add this one in, and we should be able to see it. Yay, there it is. Look at that, huh? All right, let me just, so there it is. There's the article. Let me just bounce it all the way down, guys. Give me 1 sec. Okay, cool. So, 3 hostages taken, shots fired at Evansville Veterans Home. This like just happened, guys. Let's see what this is. Oh, this looks like on the scene there. Somebody recorded this. Yeah, it's a short little like 30-second clip, but this is apparently on the scene there. Yeah. So, all right. So there was that. And then, yeah, this is all the information about it. Elementary school was on lockdown briefly. So this is kind of like a little, I mean, this is pretty serious, I guess. You know, this is a very serious thing going on right now. As we get updates, I'll try to put something out, whether it's tweets, Facebook posts, articles, something like that. But that's really about wraps it up for now, guys. I don't really have much else to kind of touch on now. I might do maybe a short little Periscope later. I probably won't do another one of these today. This will be for today. Maybe tomorrow night we'll do one after Shabbat. But as far as it goes, guys, that's it. Thanks so much for dropping by and checking everything out. And like you always do, sharing it. And thank you for everyone who's a patron. We really do appreciate that. That helps us expand. And until next time, guys, take it easy, and we'll talk soon.